Hi, today I am building I plan to use it as a shade house. You could use this as temporary storage. You could use this as a temporary greenhouse. It's semi-permanent. Could last for 3 years if you take care of it. If it's highly mobile, you can move it and build another one next year. Easy to repair. I simply use 2 pieces of bamboo about 3/4 inch in diameter, and I'm about to show you how I anchor these in. So let's just go ahead and add a rib. Okay. 1.5 inch PVC. I cut it off to about 15 inches long. To keep my bamboo off the out of the dirt and to allow for a little bit of drainage, I just have some gravel here. Put in about 6 inches of gravel. Now I've cut 2 pieces of bamboo. You want the big end to go at the bottom, so it'll be quite pliable what you're pulling in over the top. It looks like I've cut them about 9 feet. You kind of through trial and error learn what works. Okay. Get some good old duct tape. Duct tape isn't really part of the structure. It just helps it temporarily hold until I can tie the pieces. And I just attach them to myself like that. Hold it until I need it. Like I said, this is not meant to be permanent. This is just to hold it until I can tie it off. Now to the other side. Be a good height. So now, as you probably know, paracord, duct tape are very useful things. Let me add another one of these for you. Baler twine. Nylon baler twine is a very useful tool around the farm. So I'm going to use it to tie these a little more permanently. I'm not an expert with knots. I was not a Boy Scout, so I tend to double box knot, sometimes triple box knot everything, and then I'll tape over it to make sure it holds. One good thing about baler twine is it seems to be fairly well waxed, so it will stick to itself pretty well. Okay. So to hold the knots and everything in place, I add duct tape again. So it's duct tape, baler twine, more duct tape. Okay. Now the duct tape will not hold up in the sun, so that's why I'm using the baler twine. Okay. Same thing for the other side. couple box nuts. And I like to wrap it around so that the baler twine is holding the bamboo in place. Okay, that's simply how I do one rib. I can continue for as long as I care to the space I've got to make it a larger shelter. As I said, I plan to cover this in a tarp and use it as a shade house. Could also cover it in plastic, clear plastic, and use it as a greenhouse. Now I'm just putting a few reinforcements on it. You can kind of see this is kind of what the whole structure looks like. Kind of a basket. Didn't get that last one, was a little short, but it'll all hold together. And again, this is something you can use with on unlevel ground. It doesn't have to be perfect. No heavy duty measuring going on here. So anyhow, fairly flexible way to build something. Put this about the same as the previous one. Okay. I am not using this duct tape structurally. It's just to hold it in place until I can tie it. Okay. So the duct tape is just kind of a temporary reinforcement. I take a length of baler twine. You want to make sure you go over and under all sides. Okay. The more you wrap it, the stronger it'll be. Square knots works really well with baler twine. Okay, here's the finished tarp covered shade house. As I said, if you didn't want to use it as a shade house, you could use clear plastic for a greenhouse. I put cinder blocks and concrete blocks at each end, tied with a rope, thrown across, because you don't want the wind to cause the tarp to billow. Okay, so weighted it down with rocks and brick. And the more cross ropes you put, the better. Put deer netting on the entire inside. Not because we have trouble with deer getting into the shade house or the greenhouse, but we did that primarily for snakes. Copperheads are really bad around here, and the deer netting prevents snakes from getting in. Here's the deer netting. Our door is just simply a fence post hooked into the deer netting. We leave the ends open, that's how sun gets in, but overall it's still a pretty good shade house. 12 by 14. This should hold up pretty well for 2, maybe 3 years. If you live in a place that has a snow load, we used to have snow here, I don't think we do anymore, you might want to put a center brace along the center cross piece in order to give it a little more support. But for us here, I think this should be fine. And here's a super cheap, super simple shade house greenhouse, 12 by 14.